Hello and what's up, Gemini? This is David with another installment of the Sacred Clown Tarot for you, giving you some messages and insight into your life, any emotional, spiritual, intellectual confusion, answers that you might be looking for to clarify what's going on in your life. Happy to provide for you right now. I pulled 3 archetype cards for you and 5 clarifiers from the Rider-Waite Tarot. Let's just go over it and give us a better interpretation. This is a timeless message, so whenever you find it, it's for you. I'm not bound by any date or time. So we're going to dive in for you, right? So the underlying energy for you, Gemini, is the animal. Pisces got this a couple of readings ago. I'm going to tap in to see what it means for you. Then you have the Starborn showing up right underneath that, so that's a little something for you. But the animal is the underlying energy for you and your message for the archetype, so we'll dive in there. There's a coolness, a collectedness, a calmness, but also a perceptive nature coming from you right now. I feel like you're level-headed. You're looking at things pretty even keel. And others are seeing the collected nature within you, as if like you have, that's exactly it, like a calmness, an assuredness, a restitute nature to your perception, to how you're seeing this world. I'm not necessarily getting third eye, but your mind is coming off as pretty clear. And even if it doesn't seem clear to you, other people are thinking, hey, you're thinking quite soundly, quite logically right now. All right, we'll type into the other energies. You've got the comic right up front. You have the empty room in the center for you. Taurus got that. And then you have the river, which wanted to be read in reverse for you. The river. So it wanted to be read like that. Alright? We'll see what these archetypes mean for you. Alright? The comic. So when I pulled this up, I heard kind of like all jokes aside, because I don't think this is you. I think this is kind of like a silliness, and it's not like a silliness in a good way. This is kind of like a are we still playing these kinds of games kind of an energy, you know what I mean? I think about myself being like in middle school and like being surrounded by my peers and being like, are we actually doing all these stereotypical middle school things? Are we doing it because we're middle school students or because we think that that's what middle school students do? It's very meta as a preteen, but that's the kind of energy I'm getting from you. Like, are we still joking like that? I have like it's like a sense of not necessarily impatience with immaturity, but like I can only give you so much of my time. You know what I mean? Like I can't play along with these games anymore. There's something that's come to the surface for you, a realization where things just seem downright silly, almost comical, haha. But it's an all jokes aside energy, and it kind of reverberates back to the animal of like a getting down to business, an astuteness, an assuredness, restitute in your philosophy. And there's no joking around, like people shouldn't play with you, kind of an energy coming off that comic for you. And it's like they'd be sad if they did. But it's not menacing, it's kind of just matter of fact, you know what I mean? And I don't think it's necessarily like a sucking the air out of the room kind of a vibe. It's more just like a, if you're bent, I'll set you straight. And let's not be hell-bent on making a mockery of what we're doing here kind of a vibe. Yeah. It's like a very just resolute, piercing, get to it energy from you. The empty room. I'm going to tap into that for you. This is newness, but this is also darkness. It's uncertainty in current circumstances. And I think you are looking at this opportunity or this empty room different than perhaps your peers or those around you. And I think others, maybe your peers, are the ones that you're sharing this space with, if you are sharing this space with other people, see it as a foregone conclusion or like a lost cause perhaps, or like you're at the juncture of an ending and a beginning, and other people are focused on the ending and you are about like the beginning. You are about the let's get to it, let's fill in this space, let's make something of this opportunity. Like, I don't know, I get the sense of like a country is coming to its demise, or a business is being enveloped or consumed by another, like a little fish is getting eaten by a bigger fish. And you are of the mindset of like, well, how do we build back anew? How do we get this country back in line? How do we make sure that this company enveloping or consuming this smaller business does it in a correct fashion, so that what's being added to that bigger fish makes that bigger fish more efficient, so that it's the acquisition of the smaller fish makes sense for the bigger fish, so that the smaller fish, even though it's dying, the nutrients garnered from it, the way it's being consumed, is of added benefit to the bigger fish, because you realize now that you are part of the bigger fish that is consuming the little fish. Even though you were once a part of the smaller fish, you are part of the bigger fish. Does that make sense in any capacity? I feel like there's an opportunity for renewal that you see, that others see as just strictly death or the end of the line, but you are fixated on the jump start of like, I know, let's get to it. Let's make sure we're on our shit. This is the beginning of something new, something that could be built better again, that could be renewed, restored more ferociously, more confidently, and with greater conviction. And if you can't see it, I'm going to help you see it, is the kind of energy I'm getting from you, Gemini. You're a full speed ahead mentality right now, and I like it because you don't see that very often. The River is our third archetype card for you. This wanted to be read in reverse from how it came out, so I'm just going to interpret it, see what's going on here. Okay. So here's what's being said. The River is in reverse. You're seeing that the horse straight up as opposed to upside down in the reflection. Almost kind of like the Hunter card I had a couple of readings ago. I forget who that was for. Perhaps Aries, but maybe Capricorn. Doesn't matter. You see the progression of events. You have insight, a little bit of foresight. You see how things are going. All right. This card is telling me, don't be too hasty. All right. Now it's saying to me, not like hold your horse's energy, because I think you having that nature to get the ball rolling is good. I think what Spirit is asking you is to have a little bit of patience with the people that are still getting up to your speed. Because if you try to go full speed ahead, you're going to get lag in the rope. You know what I mean? You're going to, that lag is, how do I put it? It's like if you're trying to tow something, right? This is the analogy I'm getting. You're trying to tow something, like you say you're off-roading, you got a truck, somebody's got a car that's stuck, whatever it may be. You are the one that's towing, right? You have the towing capacity, you're trying to get something unstuck. If you go balls to the walls, right, and you slam on the gas and try to accelerate, you might snap that cord that's trying to alleviate them from the situation. You got to kind of slowly build up to it, make sure that tension is there, but not shock the bands or rope or, bungee by which you are using to try to propel the others forward. If you come at it too quick, it's going to be a hypertension situation and you might snap that cord or that rope. It's saying ease into it, get it going, and give them a chance to actually start their engine too, right? Because their car is still working, right? They're just stuck in a jam. They still have to spin their wheels. But if you spin your wheels before they even start to spin their wheels in response to take advantage of the force and the propulsion or the pull that you're giving them, you might break the connection altogether. And you're just going to be off on your own. And you probably are thinking, oh, it would be okay if I'm off on my own. But realistically, you feel the benefit of working in that group. And you're not going to see it to its highest potential unless everybody around you is galvanized with your insights in a fellowship, so to speak, in one formal cooperative effort. So hold your horses a little bit. Don't get so swept up in the emotions that you have to propel things forward. You're right in looking ahead and in wanting to pursue, but have a little bit of patience, you know what I mean? Don't plow through all your gears trying to go forward. Like if you're driving a manual car and you put your car into like 6th gear, that's not going to help you with pulling another car along. You want to get into that 1st gear, 2nd gear, and slowly build up to 3rd gear, cruising. But basically by the time you're in 3rd gear, you probably don't need to be tugging them. I've never had to rescue anybody from such an event before, but that's based off my limited motor logistics. That's what I'm thinking. Slow the pace down. Make sure you're actually kind of getting the full breadth and scope of it. Don't rush the process along. Hold true in the vision, and don't get emotionally overwhelmed by people not being at your same pace or not seeing everything the way you see it right now. It will come, but in time. You've got a little snippet, you get a sight of something that other people aren't seeing yet, but use that to your advantage. You have to connect the dots between what you're seeing and what others have been left to see. Even though it's an old world, you still have to help bridge the gap. But if you break that cord in the process, it's not going to help anybody, and you're going to get propelled forward, and they might get propelled backward because of that riff, right? In the failure of that potential to kinetic energy transfer. All right, that's what I'm getting for the archetypes. I'm going to clarify and grab some cards. Oh, okay. 10 of Cups up front. We have the 8 of Cups. In the center, over the empty room, we have that's 9 of Wands. Next up, we have the 4 of Swords. And then rounding out, last clarifier is the Death card. Heavy theme. I was wondering as I was pulling cards, I was like, are we going to get any notion of death? It's been hard to find a reading that hasn't had some reference to death over the past 5 to 6 readings once I started doing this again. So clearly I'm here because a lot of dead vibes, and that's when you bring in the triple Scorpio. But anyway, death to round it out. The underlying energy for those clarifiers is Temperance, and then you have 9 of Cups under that. And what's under that? 4 of Wands under that. How deep will we go? Hermit under that. Temperance is the only one I'm going to fixate on for you. So that's about balance. I'm going to tap into it real quick. Balance. Balance, sweet balance, Gemini. You cannot deny. That's what's being asked of you, my friend. Patience, and that's kind of like a part of what's being said with the river. A little bit of a hold your horses energy, but all in due time. It's kind of the expression I'm getting from this. Like that angel's not gonna go woo 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 with the water. It's more like a graceful pour of a transference of energy from one thing to the next. From one thing to the next. Back and forth from one cup to another, right? Practice that mindset, that feeling, that sensation in your head there, Gemini. Feel that in your body. Picture yourself as that angel with grace, slowly alchemizing that tranquility, the temperance of allowing energy flow from one nature to another, from one vessel to another. That grace, that patience is what's being asked of you to have, to see all this through. All right, so we're going to dive in to the clarifiers. You had the 10 of Cups up front. And this rainbow kind of relates to the rainbow of the comic, all right? And it's not a laughing matter, and that was what I first got from you. Oh, interesting. I'm sorry, an email came through. It's not a laughing matter. The 10 of Cups. This is, I did it pretty quick. This is saying goodbye to what you once perceived as emotional abundance and what others saw as emotional abundance. The goals of yesterday aren't the goals of today, is what I'm getting with this card. What once brought you complete emotional fulfillment in the past, you realize is no longer a successful means of the same thing. So whether that's changing a job, leaving a country, leaving a marriage, whatever it is, this speaks of renewal, but also like the same emotional fulfillment isn't going to serve you over the course of your life. And you've realized that. And I think and that's what the comic is. It's kind of like the sad realization that it's not a laughing matter anymore. And that you have to rethink, you have to renew the ideas that you have. All right? And that's why this Eight of Cups comes up. That's walking away. All right, I'm going to tap in real quick. Walking away, yeah. And that you're walking away from this. And as this is good, this is great. We had good times. The business was profitable for a decade or so. But then it started to fall flat because every empire has its end. And that's the sense I'm getting with you. That it's the end of a golden era, unfortunately. And other people are fixated on the demise of it, of how it's upsetting. Maybe they're perhaps not taking it very seriously, but you are fixated on the renewal. So you're ready to get going and leave what was once an abundance of cups behind. To look for something else, to find the renewal, to find the new beginning that other people don't quite see yet. And you're doing that great, but you're being met with this energy, the Nine of Wands. All right, I'm going to tap into that now. So this is a difficult one, but I'm relating it to you in that this is you standing right there with your idea as to what should be created in this new space, the empty room. You're seeing it quite clearly, but at the same time, it's just like you're frustrated and also like a little beguiled, I suppose, because how does your idea rise to the cream of the crop? When it's a completely empty space for new ideas, how to get your idea to be acknowledged amongst all the others. It's going to be a time where all these theories, all these ideas, all these new innovations or attempts or approaches are going to be thrown on the table, and you have to sort and sift through what's going to be the best one to do. And that's daunting, it's overwhelming. And this is you looking at all the other possibilities around you and being overwhelmed by it. But also, I think just those that you're surrounded by, being overwhelmed by the potentialities, the new possibilities of the direction that could be pursued or followed. And that can be daunting, overwhelming, because there are a couple sticks that are bigger than his. And he doesn't know how he feels about it, all right? Four of Swords. This is the resting energy. This is kind of cooling your jets a little bit, but let's tap in. Take time for rest and renewal. Take the time to rest and for rest and renewal. Easy does it. Easy does it. It's not necessarily hold your horses, but kind of a little bit of a hold your horses. There was a death, and that's her. It's what's speaking to. So like the company might not be foreclosed on, you might not be out of your old building, but this is a death. And I don't know why I keep on going to business structure. I feel like this is strategic. This is like higher level, like melting pot ideas of a group of people for you for whatever reason. You are a Gemini, so you're sociable. It's about dialogue with at least multiple people. But this is like a reminder to like not forget that to take time to rest after this death, this renewal process, because you have to recuperate. You're fixated on the future and the new pathways, but you still have to integrate what the loss means for you, because that's what other people are doing, and you think they're holding you back. They're holding the process back, but really there's a space and time for renewal, integration, patience, and just resting on what you already know. All right, and not scavenging for answers and pushing forward. I respect the fact that you have that drive, and it's never going to abandon you, because I don't think you know how to turn it off quite. But this is like, hey, just like take it easy for a little bit, all right? Because the inevitability is this ending, right? It is this ending, and with death comes renewal, but you still have to process and accept the death for what it is. It's almost like if there's a death, if there's a real life death, you're kind of a little bit in the denial. Like, I don't think you're denying that the person is dead or that the company's going under, but you're so swiftly trying to move through the process that hasn't been real integration of the loss that's occurred, of the transgression, the progression that is occurring. Because if you don't take a second to sit with it, this energy is going to sneak up on you even harder, because this has to be witnessed. And I know you see this inevitability and you're trying to get to it, but you're not going to do it any quicker if you haven't fully processed it, and if you haven't allowed your peers or those around you to fully process it as well. There has to be a balance in honoring what was and what is to come. And this is the constant middle state, right? This constant present moment of the integration of what was and what is to come. And that is what is. And you can, maybe this needs to be your statement, but it is what it is. And that's kind of where your emotional independence and self-fulfillment will be found, so that you can find a new venture or a new cooperative effort that makes sense for you after a time of integrating and reflecting on what's been going on, to find greater balance for yourself. Because if you don't do that, you won't have the victory. All right? Goodness. I just pulled all those cards, but they all lined up and a beautiful message for you. You're doing well. You're doing well. I promise you. Hold your horses just a smidgy bit. But when it's time to ride, know when to fucking ride. I hope that was a clear message for you, Gemini. Your head is on right, but just make sure you're talking with your emotional body and not being afraid to talk with your emotional body and not judging other people for perhaps living too much in their emotional body while you're a little bit in your headspace. All right? I promise it'll all make sense. I promise that you do have great ideas that you're going to see through to the finish and into fruition. But take time to integrate what the loss and the transition actually means and what can be garnered from the old experiences that will best help you in the new. All right? Much love. Fuck shit up in the best way. And until next time. Bye, Gemini.